점수 잡는 hackers.
Adult antlions range in size from 1.5 to 3 inches long. They have 4 long, thin, veined wings, and their heads are topped with 2 curved antennae. All right, they have 4 long, thin, veined wings, and their heads. Yes, we started with they because antlions is plural. And then we want to continue with plural to make it the same. So no change would be correct. Antlions are so named because of the hunting behavior of their larvae. Fiercely predatory, ants are the primarily targets of antlions. All right, here, fiercely predatory, who's the predator? It's the antlions, not the ants. Who are their targets? Like, who do they eat? Who are their prey? What do they feed on? Ants. So fiercely predatory is a modifying phrase, not describing ants, but rather describing their predators, the antlions, right? So we want to put antlions right after fiercely predatory to not make anything confusing. But then notice here, this one has an apostrophe, which means possessive form. So the actual subject of C is not antlions, it's targets, because antlions' primary targets is the subject, right? So C would be wrong, and D would be the correct answer, because D is correct because of the subject antlions. Okay? It's not targets, that's the subject. The larva lays traps for its prey by digging holes in the sand that are shaped like funnels. Okay. Holes in the sand that are shaped like funnels, way too long, wordy. Funnel-shaped holes in the sand, that's correct. Very concise. Holes in the shape of funnels in the sand, way too long, right? Okay. Holes which are funnel-shaped in the sand, also too long. So B, boy, would be your correct answer. Okay. And then we want to go to 19. Sentence 6 should be placed where? All right. Let's read this paragraph real quick. We read up to here, so let's read from sentence 3. The larva lays traps for its prey by digging holes in the sand that are shaped like funnels. When an ant approaches, the antlion flicks sand onto it, knocking it into the hole. Once the ant is trapped, the antlion grabs the ant with its pincers and injects venom to cause paralysis. Then, the larva conceals itself underneath the trap and waits. With its victim immobilized, the antlion can enjoy the fruits of its hunt. To make this paragraph most logical, sentence 6 should be placed where? Okay. Sentence 6, then the larva conceals itself underneath the trap and waits. Okay. Conceals means hides, right? So, where it is now, okay. Where it is now, once the ant is trapped, the antlion grabs the ant with its pincers and injects venom to cause paralysis. Okay, no, sentence 5 says that it already caught the ant, right? And it's like paralyzed right now. It's not even like about to happen. It already happened. So we don't need to say that it conceals itself underneath the trap and then waits for the ant, right? So not where it is now. What about after sentence 3? Sentence 3, the larva lays traps for its prey by digging holes in the sand that are shaped like funnels. Okay, larva subject, verb traps, okay, huge hint. Then the larva conceals itself underneath the trap that it just made, right, and waits. And then, sentence 4, when an ant approaches, okay, the antlion flicks sand onto it, knocking it into the hole. Perfect. So after sentence 3 would be correct. Okay, sentence 4, the ant has already come, so no. It's already got knocked into the hole, so it's caught, right? Sentence 7, obviously not, because we said sentence 6 is already too far, so sentence 7 wouldn't make any sense, right? Because sentence 7 is the concluding sentence when it has already caught the ant. So B would be your best answer. Okay. Antlions are also known as doodlebugs, and this name too comes from larval behavior. When antlions are moving through the sand, they look for the ideal location to build their ant traps. Their bodies leave behind winding trails in the sand. These paths resemble spiraling doodles. Okay, so 20, which choice most effectively combines the sentences at the underlined portion? They look for the ideal location to build their ant traps. Semicolon, and there. Okay, we do not want a conjunction and after semicolon ever. They look for their ideal location to build their ant traps, comma, their bodies leave behind. Okay, so notice here, the problem is when antlions are moving through the sand, they look for the ideal location to build their ant traps. That's a full sentence. And then after the comma, their bodies leave behind winding trails in the sand is also another full sentence. Can you have just a comma between two full sentences? No, you need a semicolon. So this one is wrong. Looking for the ideal location to build their ant traps. Okay, let's go back to this. When antlions are moving through the sand, looking for the ideal location to build their ant traps, comma, and there. Okay, we don't need an and if we put a comma there, because notice here, when antlions are moving through the sand, looking for the ideal location to build their ant traps, that's not a full sentence. That's an incomplete. That's just a dependent clause, right? Not a full sentence yet. So dependent clause just needs a comma. It doesn't need comma and a conjunction. Okay, just a comma. So D, David. Okay, this is taking really long. When antlions are moving through the sand, looking for the ideal location to build their ant traps, comma. Okay, that's a dependent clause. Their bodies leave behind winding trails in the sand. That's a full sentence, once again. That's good because what do you put between one independent clause and one dependent clause? Right now, the front part is the dependent clause. So that's not a full sentence. But the one that comes after the comma, their bodies leave behind winding trails in the sand, that's a full sentence. So that's an independent clause, like I said, right? And you need a single comma in between one dependent clause and one independent clause. So D, David, would be your correct answer.